be like, this is just so ridiculous. Why are you sending an email with a document that's empty, basically?
I think it's all automatic though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't think somebody's creating that. So if they sign up online to speak, they automatically go on that sheet, and then there's certain people that it emails out to.
Okay.
So it's usually there's people on the development one, but this one I've never seen anybody on that one.
Oh, that makes me feel better that automatic. That's very efficient then. In that case, I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, the waste of time.
That must have been the other. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't blame you.
For everybody online, we're just gathering everything together here. We'll be getting started shortly.
Thanks, Blair.
Do we have a quorum, Blair?
For everything IT. So if like you're doing a presentation, you have somebody.
Mr. Weber informs me, yes, we do.
Like he.
Yay, okay, good, thank you.
And you need IT assistance.
Good morning, Barb. Good morning, Mr. Weber.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do we have a remote to advance slides with?
I do, but it's a challenge because
Oh, because it's running through.
it's going through you said you only wanted to show the cover, or
No, but I have another presentation that's actually attached inside the agenda.
Okay.
That will come up, and I usually click through it myself. I can just say next slide if you want.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, since we're last minute, if we kind of plan better for it. I have to put it on a different computer in order to do that, and I don't have it on the other computer right now, so good technology wise.
Hello, it is Friday, the 13th at 9 o'clock. I'd like to call the Energy and Environmental Committee to order. Can I please have a roll call?
Warnicki,
Bonnicki, present.
Weber,
Present.
Allen, Barrero,
Alan,
Hernandez?
present, sorry.
Hernandez, Caius,
Caius present.
Sanchez,
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you. Can I please get a motion and a second for approval of the minutes from October 16th?
Alan
Caius
moves.
Alan moves. Caius, is that you seconding, Caius?
Sure.
Sure. Can I please have a,
Or the other way, it's fine.
doesn't matter to me. We'll keep it that way. Alan moves,
defer to
Caius
the
second.
president. Yeah.
Can I please have a roll call for approval?
Weber,
Yes.
Allen,
Alan, aye.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Warnicki?
Warnicki, yes.
That carries. Thank you very much. Just real quick, there's no other board members in here with the exception of Penny Wegman, who's not on the committee. So I'm going to need full participation from those of you on the phone so we can keep the meeting moving. Thank you very much. First, we have Jody Walnick. We have a presentation.
Thank you. I just wanted to introduce our new employee, Ivy Klee, this morning. She's a new sustainability manager, and I'll have her give you a couple words about her background. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ivy Klee. I'm going to be taking over the Resource Management Coordinator position of Jessica Mino in the Department of Environmental and Water Resources. So a little bit about me. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Science and a minor in Sustainability. I have a passion for working in local government, especially in sustainability. And then I'm excited to get to know all of you and be working with you on the variety of projects that the position entails. In my previous professional experience, I've completed a year of AmeriCorps, which is a non-for-profit organization similar to the Peace Corps, but in the United States. So it was a year of service, and I held a position in local government and sustainability also. So I'm excited to be working in a similar field.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you. You got big shoes to fill, but I'm sure you're up for the challenge, and you'll fit right in. Go ahead, Jody.
Welcome, Ivy.
Welcome,
Yeah, we're
Ivy.
excited to have you.
Thank you.
I'll move on then to the Watershed Group November activity report. We had a lot of activity in the watershed planning for this last month. A lot of the annual meetings were held. In regards to the Fox River Study Group, they're finishing up their water quality scenarios, looking at the various impacts of nutrient and dissolved oxygen in the Fox River. The Fox River Study Group has also just about completed their monitoring upstream and downstream of the Carpentersville Dam that is scheduled to be removed by the Kane County Forest Preserve District in late 2021. So we'll be very interested to see the results of that before and after monitoring efforts, which will go into the overall model for the Fox River. In addition, we had the annual meeting presentation by the City of Aurora. That was excellent. They've been doing quite a bit of monitoring of their storm sewer outfalls in the city and had a lot of great results to present in regards to the water quality that's coming off the urban areas in the storm sewers. So we're reaching out to other communities along the Fox River to see what kind of testing that they're doing and hopefully anticipate to have some results that would give some additional information about what kind of water quality we're getting off of our urban areas. The Indian Creek Watershed continues to coordinate their efforts with CMAP and a watershed-based plan for the Indian Creek Watershed. This is a watershed, one of our watersheds that's incredibly highly urbanized and developed. So it'll be interesting what kind of parameters they come up with those studies. And they anticipate having a draft completed in early 2021. So we will have more information to present to the committee regarding that report. Finally, the Tyler Creek Watershed had their annual meeting on October 21st. They included a countywide detention basin inventory, drainage infrastructure mapping, and updating of the county's wetland maps within that annual meeting. In addition to that, we're continuing to work towards coordination between the village of Pingree Grove, Gilberts, and Elgin, so that there's one vision for the Tyler Creek Watershed within those municipalities. Lastly, I didn't have it on my report, but I did want to report on the Illinois Nutrient Strategy meeting that was held last week. There was some great presentations from our neighboring states and their progress on the nutrient strategy. Again, this is in regards to the Gulf hypoxia issue down in the Gulf of Mexico. And they had some great ideas that we're going to be using some of those resources. And our hope also, we did turn in some photos from the Kane County Farm Bureau rain garden, pollinator garden that was done in July. So hopefully we'll actually be in the annual report this year. So that's all I have. If there's any questions.
Any questions with people on the phone?
Yeah, this is Deborah Allen. Jody, thanks. That's a great report. Can I ask when Aurora is studying its outfalls, are they just looking to see how much they've been able to clean up the water before they dump it back into the river?
They're actually looking to see, to figure out what a baseline is. There's not a lot of data out there on our storm sewer outfalls. They're actually considered part of the non-point source pollution in the nutrient strategy document. And so to better define what that is the majority of our nutrients coming from urbanized areas? Or are they coming from our agricultural areas? Are they coming from our well and septic subdivisions? We really don't have a good grasp on that. We just have an overall percentage. And so we're all trying to drill down on, the lowest hanging fruit in regards to those. And so that will be part of our presentation, our work that is going to be ongoing with the Ag Committee to try to assess those same parameters for our agricultural areas.
That's really good stuff. I would think with Elgin having Mayor Captain as mayor, that Elgin would be interested in participating in something like that also, if you think that data would be worthwhile.
Certainly, and it's part of most communities' MS4 MPDS permit at this point. So there is a very good chance that they're already doing that sampling. We just need to kind of bring all that data together to kind of see what our parameters are for the County of Kane.
For sure. Can I ask, since you're saying that they're doing monitoring before and after the Carpentersville Dam, did someone also do before and after monitoring when we took out the that dam in the by the Fabian Forest Preserve?
I do not know that, but I could find out the answer to that.
It's just another opportunity to have before and after data, though that dam was sort of odd in that it was, part of the river.
Is there any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Is that you, Chris Kaus?
Yes, it is. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're very faint, but yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Let's see if I can adjust that a little bit. Yeah, just a question. The nutrient strategy group for Jody, is that a separate overarching group, or how does that fit in with that? Are they all coordinating with municipalities? Who's in that group?
It's a long list, and I can send you that information. It's a state-funded group that has different subcommittees within that group. So it's a bit of a complex organization. So I can send you the exact partners that are in that group, but it's a required report under our strategy document that each year they update their progress in those nutrient goals. And so they have a team of both on the educational side of things as well as on the technical side of things to assess how the state of Illinois is doing in regards to meeting those goals.
That would be great. Thank you.
Any other questions? All righty. Thank you very much. Moving right along. We now have recycling solid waste with Jennifer Jarlin. We have resolution. The first resolution is the adopting the King County Solid Waste Management and Resource Recovery Plan 2020 update. Can I have a motion and a second?
Sanchez moves.
Sanchez moves. Well, Barb Wonicky seconds.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Jennifer. You want to talk about it?
Thanks. I just had a couple of comments. You've all seen this for the last several months. We've been bringing it to the committee and showing you the different updates or the process of the updates, working with Aptum. Environmental as our consultant. And since the last version that you saw, which was the one we released for public comment, there were only just a couple of changes. We didn't receive any official written public comments that we were going to incorporate in the appendix in full. So we've removed that appendix because we didn't receive any. We got one comment during the hearing, and it was just a comment. She didn't feel that there needed to be anything added to the plan. And then I did receive one comment from a colleague in the area who wishes to remain confidential, just on a note around the tone of the host agreement section. And so we have made changes to the host agreement and siting application section of the plan. And what the comments were, the host agreement is regarding if a transfer station or a company wants to come in to build a transfer station in the county, that the county forms an agreement with them that's called the host agreement that requires them to pay X amount per pound received over a certain amount, to the county for, wear and tear on the roads and things like that, to put it simply. We do want to invite development and infrastructure in the solid waste industry into Kane County in the future. And it was noted by this person that that our tone was not inviting. And so that was a really great comment. And so Christina at Aptum and I went back and reviewed it and changed the tone of it a little bit, saying, we really do want to invite infrastructure in. There are processes you're going to need to go through. And so we changed the tone. We pulled the siting application requirements out of the plan because that doesn't need to be there. It's in the siting ordinance, and they will, of course, refer to that and do what needs to be done. It doesn't need to sit in the plan. And then the host agreement that was updated by Aptum and laid in and by incorporation in this plan is now a template agreement. It's not meant to be, this will be the word for word agreement. This is an example of what the agreement should include. Maybe other things will be included. Maybe some of these will be removed depending on the negotiations that happen at the time with the company. And so that was also made more clear that this is just an example of what an agreement would look like, which is very handy because it's a starting point, and then we can build from there. So further, the siting ordinance was quite old. And so we're going to be looking at, Aptum is going to review and recommend updates to the siting ordinance as well within the scope of this plan. And we're going to do that over the next month and also come forward to this committee for those revisions in the future.
Excellent. Any questions or comments on that?
Mr. Chairman, it's Deborah. Can I?
Yes, go ahead, Deborah.
Thank you. Just institutional memory. When I first came on the board, really at the very beginning, and Barb can back me up on this, the big issue was whether or not the landfill in the South Elgin area should be allowed to change over to a transfer station. And there were, that was turned down by the board. And there were a couple of good reasons. For instance, when you came around the curve of Route 25, if you were traveling at normal Route 25 speeds, which is probably 5 miles over the limit, around 50, if we ran in, if it could have happened that there would be trucks at the transfer station backed up into the road, and it would have been really dangerous. And they never asked for a stoplight or some other, like an extra turn lane or anything. So that was one of the main reasons I think that people voted against the transfer station there. And I was very, as I say, brand new on the board. And so I said to Chairman McCoy, if we don't put a transfer station there, is there someplace else in the county that would be an appropriate place? Generally, you're using places like industrial parks. It's something that's, well set away from where people live and work. And Chairman McCoy said, I think after all of the time we've had at Geneva and this station, there just isn't any, there's no stomach for it in Kane County anymore. So look what happened, of course. Waste Management went right over to Elgin and put together an agreement, and there's a waste transfer station there that's working just fine. And I'm from Elgin, I'm not knocking that. I think I'm sure we're really dependent on the money coming from that transfer station, but it was a lost opportunity. And I don't know if those opportunities will happen again, but Jennifer, I'm glad you're trying to be open to it. If there's an appropriate site, it's a very useful tool for the community. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another comment?
Thank you. Yeah, well, Nikki, thank you, Deborah. I do remember those days too, when that transfer station was proposed in South Elgin. And actually, I think it was the city of St. Charles too, that they were opposed to the traffic that would be traveling up and down Route 64 right through the center of St. Charles. So I think that was part of the reason too they decided to vote no to that particular transfer station. But that's an interesting topic. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, there's a lot that will go into any development like that. But in my mind, I feel like we should just be ready. So that was my intention with including these elements in the plan and getting them updated properly so they're current. And also, thinking forward to possibly a composting facility or something like that that's a little bit more rural where you wouldn't have the traffic issues, but it's something that we'll be needing in the future. So, yeah.
Right.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Can I get a roll call vote on this resolution?
Weber?
Yes.
Allen?
Alan, aye, and composting is great.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Winicky?
Well, Nikki, yes.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next.
I'm so
Yes, go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt. There was one thing I forgot, which is I wanted to show you the new cover. That was the other change that we made, is we made a beautiful new cover for it because we just had kind of a placeholder cover, and we've worked a little bit on the graphics, and this is what the cover looks like now. And that will be, I'll have that replaced in the agendas moving forward through the next committee so that that's the final copy.
That's a wonderful cover.
Isn't it great?
I like
So
it. Yes.
That's a wonderful cover.
All right.
Good job. All righty. Next, we have a resolution for authorizing the intergovernmental agreement among, County of Kane, the Village of West Dundee, eWorks Electronic Services for the recycling of electronics equipment for 2021. Can I have a motion and a second for that?
Sanchez moves.
Caius, move.
Sanchez.
Caius, second.
All righty. There you go. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Jennifer.
So this one is just basic bookkeeping. It's the same agreement you've seen every year for the last several years, that enables us to have, West Dundee is hosting the Kane County Electronics Recycling site at their Public Works building, and eWorks is the one that runs it with their staff. And so it's all three parties are in this agreement, but it's also including the incentive payment to West Dundee to let us take up a piece of their public works yard and use their building facilities and sometimes some help with the forklift. And so that money is in the budget. And just a note on this too, that the agreement does state that they will be paid this amount, $1,000 per month, that the center is in operation. And so we had 12,000 budgeted for this year, but they'll only be receiving 10 because we were shut down for 2 months during COVID. Just a note. Hopefully we'll be open all 12 months this coming year.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's nice to have a host location to be able to do this. So it's very important. Can I please have a roll call on this resolution?
A comment first?
Oh, yes,
Mr.
go ahead.
Chairman? I just wanted to comment. I visited there yesterday, and It is very convenient for the residents of northern Kane County, particular Dundee, but also all the way up to Algonquin. It's a short drive, makes a lot of difference. I think it's bringing a lot of people in that might reconsider what they're doing, have to drive all the way down to Fabian to get rid of their electronic disposal equipment or dispose of their electronic equipment. And it was quick. There were 3 of us there at once, and so it looked like a steady stream was well used. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. Any other questions or comments? Can I please have a roll call vote?
Weber,
Yes?
Allen,
Alan, aye.
Caius,
Caius, big yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Warnicki,
Warnicki, yes.
Great. Motion, the resolution passes. Next, we have a presentation, a recycling update.
Thank you. So we're just going to pull up the presentation here. In the meantime, I have a pop quiz. In this resolution that you just passed, do you notice anything different about how we're naming the place where people drop off equipment?
Trick question.
And in here is the old language. We used to call them drop-off centers, and now we're going to be rebranding them recycling centers. So I should have done that in this slide, but I just pulled an old slide deck up and updated it that way. But because of the update that I'm about to tell you, we just decided that we've got now electronics and clothes and maybe other stuff coming. And so we thought recycling centers was more of an appropriate name than electronics drop-offs. The clicker isn't working, so I guess we'll just do the next slide, please.
By the way, I could use the, I did drop off clothes yesterday as well, and I could have used the scrap metal drop off. So
Thus your email, I understand.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I had to haul some metal over there and hauled it back because I thought maybe we opened all of them for that.
Oh, no.
Not a problem.
Okay, I'll talk a little bit about that too. So this is just a recap on the pumpkin composting event that we had last weekend. There will be an article in the Kane County Connects about it with some more current photos. This photo is from last year, actually. This year, we did it a little bit differently. We work in partnership with the Pushing the Envelope Farm, which is just over on Averill Road, just off of Kirk. And they are an amazing little family-owned farm, and they bring in people to teach them how to farm consciously without, it's organic farming, it's no chemicals, and they're just a lovely family, really willing and enthusiastic about partnering with the county for this event every year. The pumpkin composting events started in Scarce, the organization called Scarce, which is in DuPage County, actually, and they're an educational organization that do school education on recycling and composting. They started this pumpkin recycling event, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years ago. Must have been 6 years ago because we didn't do the first one, and this was our 5th one. And they started with a couple of different community events, and then each year more and more communities wanted to be involved. So everybody does the event at the same time. It's on the first Saturday in November every year in the morning from 9 to 12. And this year, I think there was over 50 sites, and it's going to be the hugest intake of pumpkins ever. And our event was 3 times bigger than our last biggest event. It was huge. We did 300 cars, 33,000 pounds of pumpkins. We had a mountain of pumpkins. And so instead of putting it in the boxes this year, we just all threw it into a big pile. They're going to come through with their farm equipment, smash them up, and till them in. So it's such a great model because it's just right there on the farm, super local. Also, they will be receiving pumpkins and gourds and hay bales and corn stalks for the rest of the month as well. If anybody didn't make it to this event, they can still drop things off there. But I'm really proud of this event because it is so closed loop. A lot of the other events don't have such a great partnership or opportunity because, well, because they're not as rural as we are as well. There's no farmland. So they get a dumpster in, fill the dumpster gets hauled to a composting facility and then processed, you know? So I just love that it's right there on the land. So really, really happy with the turnout this year. And the biggest pumpkin was well over 100 pounds, so we could hardly even get out of the car. It was huge. It was as big as a half of a hay bale, basically, but it was a pumpkin. Real fun. So, and then just to announce that tomorrow is our last recycling event in St. Charles over at 540 South Randall. That's the last event of the year, and we'll be collecting electronics, clothing, and books. And that's from 8 to noon.
You have enough volunteers for that, do you, Joe or Jennifer?
I do. I think it's going to be a pretty cruisy one, just because it's, you know, no paint or extra pieces, and we have the vendors bring people, and actually the community restitution services team that comes, they haven't come all year long because they were basically shut down because of COVID. Well, they're actually back up and running just in time for the last event, so they are coming to help unload electronics tomorrow, and that's super helpful. Helps them meet their hours and helps eWorks save some costs on bringing staff members to unload. So that's great. We'll be, as always, following the very strict safety protocol that we've been operating under all year, but I've already called everybody and said, you know, we've gotten a little bit lax the last couple where I'd turn and someone has their mask hanging on one ear, you know, because I don't know, I guess we started to, you know, feel more comfortable with it all. And this time it said, you know, we have to be really on it. Everybody wearing gloves, everybody with their masks on at all times. People, residents who visit and come through the event will stay in their vehicles, and we unload from the back end. We try to have zero contact. So we'll be very vigilant with that this event. And then now, there we go. So this is the event schedule for next year. And there's a couple that are, oh, was there a question? That I heard somebody. So we are required by the electronics recycling law to hold 8 events because we have 2 permanent drop-off locations. However, you're just gonna, okay, sorry. So there is an option to change that. If we were to get another permanent site, then we could have less events. So there's a couple there that are at the bottom in gray that are tentative and possibly at a different location. So this year we're sort of exploring a different way of doing things also because we're booking the document shredding events on days that are different than the other event days. So we're not trying to do it all at once like we have in the past because of just basically traffic. It's just too much, almost too much to handle. We can handle it, but it's right at the edge of falling to pieces. So we're like, okay, let's try something different this year. We'll just do electronics, clothes, and books on the regular second Saturday. And then on the 4th Saturday of April, we'll do document shredding. On the 4th Saturday in June also, and on the 4th Saturday in October. We're gonna do the doc shredding, and those will be just document shredding events. We'll have 4 trucks at that first one, and 3 trucks at the second one, and 4 trucks at the third one. So that's plenty of capacity. We should be able to serve everybody who shows up and not have to cut them off because the trucks are full. I feel this will be much more smooth for the attendees and easier on the traffic management people. It does mean that we have to have more events total in the year because we still have to conduct our 8 electronics events. And then we do have the special event for hazardous waste in Aurora that was scheduled for May of this year, just passed, but we canceled it because of COVID. So it's been rescheduled for June 5th, and that's in partnership with the city of Aurora and DuPage County as well. And then the pumpkin composting event as well. So these dates are right now scheduled with all of the vendors who are necessary to conduct the events. I've sent it to OEM, but I will confirm with them that these are now our dates that we're planning on. We are going to remain flexible, however, and we're not going to post these on the website just yet, just while we're finalizing. And also because now we're like, well, things can change as we saw this year. And so, so you can count on these for now, but always, always check the website before the events to make sure that, that they're correct and that we're actually going to have the event. Next slide.
Question? Caius?
Sure, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah. Jennifer, have you reached out to the Bruner Farms organic farm or natural farm up here in northern Kane County for the for a pumpkin-like drop-off? That seems like a kind of a natural thing.
No, I have not. And I would be interested, though. I don't know that farm personally. So if you want to connect me, I can reach out to them.
I will see what I can do. Yeah.
Yeah, anyone.
If I get out of my office.
Anyone can join that event. They just have to register with Scarce and get. They have to send notification to the recycling coordinator in the county, which is me, and get approval to have the event, which is just basically paperwork. They just say we're going to have this event on this day, and I write back it's in alignment with the Kane County Solid Waste Plan, and then they can move ahead.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and then here's the rebranded recycling centers that are open year round. And this is great because as we're coming to the end of the event season now, it's not to say that people will still have an opportunity to recycle electronics and books and clothes. We are adding books at the drop-offs. That's probably on my next slide. Anyway, right now, it's electronics, household appliances that are not Freon containing, clothing, textiles, shoes, and scrap metal at Fabian. And I should have clarified that. On the website, it does say scrap metal Fabian only. And those are the current hours. Also, Naperville does serve our residents, though it's in DuPage County. It's still in the southern end of Kane County and is serviced by eWorks, so it's exactly the same program.
Jennifer, this is Deborah. Is the Naperville thing new? Is that a coalition you were able to work out?
No, it's been there. I just started listing it as an option for Kane County residents because it's not a program that I manage. As I said, it's a DuPage County drop-off, but it is available and open to the residents in southern Kane County. So I now list it as a southern point.
It sounds good. I don't know if any of our people would use it, but South End, it's always good. Thank you.
Yeah, Aurora residents are very grateful when I tell them that they can go there instead of drive up to Batavia, so it works. And overall, I mean, eWorks is still the vendor, as I said, and the program is identical. So here's the slide that announces that we're going to start taking books at the drop-off locations. And that's something that we've looked at before, but it wasn't really logistically feasible because Fred Bozzoli, who owns Pace Setter Books and does our events for us, receives the books there, does the scanning, for reuse, whatever he can, and then recycles the rest. He was just a one-man show, and and that was just his side job. He had another full-time job. Well, now he's retired, and this is kind of his main gig. He also has a new partner, Vicky, who's working with him, and that has conspired to make it possible for them to service the drop-off locations in a timely and efficient manner, which was always the holdup, because we don't want them to be overrun with books and have piles of books sitting around, So we're going to start December 1st. We're going to do a big article in the Kane County Connects and announce that people can drop off books at the recycling centers now in both West Dundee and Batavia. And then Fred and Vicky will go and service those sites weekly or as needed. They'll be, as we start, we're calling it a pilot just to see how it goes and see what the volume looks like. And then they will go and they take all the books that they've received. So the staff person who's an eWorks staff person they've agreed to have them, you know, handling the books, getting them out of the cars and putting them into the plastic container that they'll go into. Then Fred and Vicky go. Fred will be servicing West Dundee. Vicky will be doing Batavia, and they go and they take them, sort through them, deliver the ones that they don't want to. Fred will be going straight to West Rock, where the books are pulped into new paper products, the ones that are not reused. And Vicky will be taking her leftovers that she doesn't want for her reuse purposes to Scarce in DuPage County, and they're going to do a secondary sort again and remove even more books for reuse through their system of redistribution to schools and whatnot. And then the leftovers will go for pulping. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. The reason why it came up again right now is a trustee of West Dundee, and now I didn't write her name down. Her first name is Michelle, and I'm totally spacing out her last name. But she asked West Dundee Public Works, is there ever a chance of us taking books up here? And then that got forwarded to me, so I looked into it again. So I'm very grateful to Trustee Michelle for spurring that on again. So it's going to be a great service through the winter months when we don't collect them at the events. Additionally, we are expanding our hours at the Fabian Recycling Center starting in December as well. There will be Saturday hours, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So they'll still be open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, but also Saturdays. And and again, this is kind of a pilot just to see how it goes, to be able to offer weekend hours through the months when we're not having the events for people who work, 9 to 5 and just cannot make it to the drop off on Monday through Friday. eWorks will be supplying 3 staff people at the beginning, just to make sure we're cool with it. Because if people perceive it as an event, for example, or we end up just getting slammed, we'll be ready. And we're going to be directing traffic in such a way that they'll enter at Redant Road lights and drive that back road. I don't know if most of you know that property. Drive that back long road around, drop off, and then exit straight onto the road, so that we don't have too many cars that are lining up on the road and whatnot. So it'll be an exit only on the Saturday and enter at the lights.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we'll see how that all goes. And again, that all starts December 2nd, I guess it will be, or December, whatever that first Saturday is in December.
Fantastic. Any questions or comments on all that?
Mr. Chairman, this is Deborah.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Thank you. I just want to thank Jennifer for always thinking through how best to use our resources. And that is an excellent use of that light at Radent. I mean, how lucky are we to have a light there and to use that Fabian property for good purposes while we're trying to decide what we're going to do next. Thank you. Insightful thinking.
Wonderful. Thank you. All righty. Moving right along to sustainability. We have, I don't know if Jody's going to do this or Ivy is going to do this.
I will do this one if you want to
Okay.
ask for a motion and second first.
So I'm going to need a motion and second. The resolution is authorizing a contract extension for electrical aggregation program consultant.
Winicky moves.
Okay.
Alan seconds.
And Alan seconds. Can I go ahead, read the resolution?
Thank you. We have before you a 1-year extension to Nymax Consulting Services. They are the consultant that puts together the bidding documents for our electrical aggregation program. If you recall from last year, we did a similar 1-year extension with Nymax. They've been a fantastic partner with the county. And in fact, based on the bids that we did receive for electric aggregation, we are one of the few programs that did get rates that were less than ComEd, saving our 17,000 customers about $100 in this past year. Because of the uncertainty of the market, however, our previous contract was a 3-year contract. This last contract was only a 1-year contract. So we will be meeting, myself and Ivy will be meeting with Nymax in the coming months to determine kind of where the situation is so we can provide the committee here an update. Many of the communities did do the green power option last year, which matched ComEd's rates, but did get their customers some green power as a benefit. So we will see if that's still an option this coming year, or if we're going to bid the green option along with the option that would have our rates lower than ComEd, again, to see kind of how the numbers come in. So that will be forthcoming, but first we need to renew the one-year extension with our consultant Nymax. So I would ask for the committee's approval of the resolution.
Any questions or comments? Alrighty. Can I please have a roll call vote to approve this? Weber, yes.
Allen,
Alan, yes, and $100 is $100.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Warnicki,
Warnicki, yes.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Does anybody have any new business to discuss today? Seeing none. I don't think we have any public comment. There's nobody in the room. Anyone on the phone, Blair? No? Alrighty. Then I'm going to need a motion and a second to place the reports on file for today.
Alan moves.
Thank you. Who would like to second?
Caius, second.
Kaya seconds. Thank you
Caius.
very much. Can I please have a roll call?
Weber,
Yes?
Allen,
Alan, aye.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Warnicki,
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. We have no need for executive session today. Can I please have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
Caius, move.
Thank you,
Sanchez,
Chris.
seconds.
And we do not need a roll call for that. So all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Those that don't want it to adjourn, say nay. None. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Oh, the fun is over.
Thanks, Weber. I owe you one.
Absolutely, no problem. And I will take you up on that.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Have a good day, everyone.
You
Good
too,
job,
Barb.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Nice job.
No problem, Deb.
Anyone online sticking around for the Jobs Committee, we will be using this same meeting room for that. I will be muting the audio here in the boardroom for a little while. So feel free to message me if you have something to say before the meeting starts.